we'll start backwards. We'll start with a Q&A, and then based on that, we'll talk some more.
It's not working.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so something about myself. I've worked in technical, managerial, paid, and volunteer roles in various organizations over time. And two long-term volunteer roles close to my heart are a 7-year involvement with a small mentoring organization for youth at risk in East San Jose, and a 4-year involvement with the Iitmaana board. And I'm the spouse of a classmate of Naren's. I'm moderating this panel from my perspective as working on working on these specific issues with my parents and my in-laws, and I'm sure all of us to some degree or the other are having to start with dealing with these issues. And currently we made the decision, rather the family made the decision to have the parents move in with us. So I'm now looking to have people talk about the other side of the equation, people whose parents have chosen to stay in India. So let me start with Dinesh. Dinesh Bajaj is an IIT Delhi graduate from 1968. He's an MSEE from Ohio State and an MBA from University of Dayton. He worked at various large corporations like ITT, Nortel Networks, IBM, and Siemens. Did a few startups in the mid-90s and had with successful exits on 2 of them. He decided to exit high-tech around 2004 and bought lots of residential real estate. So now he's fully retired and currently busy playing tennis, volunteer work for the ICC Senior Center, playing with his grandchildren and managing real estate. He says at this ultimate stage in life he's at this ultimate stage in life where he wanted to be. So the perspective that Dinesh is bringing in is the whole social, how do you bring in a social aspect, at least vaguely mimicking what family sees in India. Next, we have Shishir. Shishir is IITM 2002. He has been on the Iitmaana board for the last couple of years. He is currently with Siliconex in product marketing. And the perspective he's bringing in is where his parents are pretty young and they are making the trips back and forth between the continents, and they're still healthy and able to do so. Next we have Sylvia. Sylvia brings 20 years of experience as a licensed broker and account manager in individual and corporate employee benefits. She has acquired a wealth of knowledge and experience in the insurance and human resources industries as sales and marketing rep for Kaiser Permanente, United Metra Healthcare, Provident, Saratoga Institute, and as a consultant for Aon Consulting. In 2010, Sylvia established Be Well Insurance Solutions, an independent insurance brokerage and consultancy, specializing in employer benefits and various business and individual insurance products. She has served the needs of organizations ranging from Fortune 100 organizations to small startups. Sylvia holds a BS in Business Administration and Economics from St. Mary's College of California, and graduate certificates in Public Relations from the Golden Gate University and Human Resource Management from UC Santa Cruz. When not busy with her career, Sylvia enjoys long walks with her chihuahua, Cisco, as well as watching independent films and traveling. She's fluent in English and Spanish. Welcome, Sylvia. The perspective I'm hoping she brings to this panel is the huge, huge question of insurance and medical benefits and how to take care of that aspect. Finally, we have, of course, our well-known Dilip. Dilip is currently CEO of Sagex Solutions. He has previously held senior management positions with McKinsey, Google, PayPal, and Yahoo, and co-founded and led multiple successful startups. Dilip graduated from IIT Madras in 1981 and has been very active in IITM and Pan-IIT affairs for several years. He claims to be a proud IITM alum. So the perspective I'm hoping Dilip brings in is he's taking care of his mom, who lives in India, and requires, at this stage in his mom's life, needs attention. So, quick show of hands, how many people are taking care of parents here in this country? And how many are doing it long distance? Wow. And how many have youngish parents where the commute and travel is still possible for them? Good number. So I just want to know what you see as the primary issues of, let's start the first half, let's start about parents who are still young enough and well enough to travel. What do you think are the major issues when they visit us or when you visit them? What do you think are things that are on your mind? Here. Is there another mic? Yeah. Go ahead.
So this is very funny because just at lunch, a bunch of us were discussing about insurance options when parents are visiting the US especially. You know, what kind of insurance is the best in terms of coverage and so this is very timely. I would say insurance is one of the biggest things on our
insurance. Okay. Anybody else?
So for me, the biggest thing which I feel is them feeling valued here and constructively involved in the community and be able to contribute.
Wonderful point.
Yeah, that's what I feel will be a good thing.
Anybody else?
Just raise your hand if you'd like to speak and we'll get a mic to you.
Okay, so let's start from there. So Dinesh knows this really well. And I know Dinesh because my in-laws are regulars in the ICC. And it's really a social fulcrum of their lives at this stage because, like you mentioned, people lead very busy lives. And how do they keep themselves occupied as well as valued? So I'm going to let, yes, go ahead please.
Wrong panels on the screen, please take it off.
Yeah.
Screen.
And the screen is.
Needs to be taken out.
More impressive makes. You're the only guy who knows, right? Take it.
All right. So I'm going to let Dinesh start off first talking about what, in terms of social lives and being valued and all, is possible in this country. Like I was saying about Dinesh, he travels from Livermore and gives a ride to several seniors from there to bring them here to the ICC along with him every time he comes. And it's a wonderful social service, if you look at it that way, that he performs.
Thank you. This problem of our parents coming here and sitting at home and staring at the four walls or at the TV and what they call golden handcuffs, you know, you put them, we have big homes and all that stuff, but nothing to do, no neighbors to talk to. So this problem was recognized pretty early on. And in mid-90s, a lot of people thought of it, what to do. And the parents began to meet in the local temples. Fremont Temple has been there for a long time, Sunnyvale Temple, Chimney Mission had a location in San. So they started meeting over there. And, I know Suhas Patil and Jashi Patil, whom you might know, they recognized this problem and they raised some money. And I remember it may have been even as much as $500,000. And then they found a building right next to the Thai building. That was a Democracy Way, if you remember. So they rented part of that. And that's from where this ICC, used to be called ICSC, Indo-American Community Service Center, was started. And that's where they had rented the building and people would come 7 days a week It was a room about 1,000 square feet or so, but they put enough chairs there, created enough areas. People started meeting there, and we started having programs. 5 days, active programs, 5 days a week, and then some people would come during the weekend also. I got involved in it in 2001. This was in I was involved in TICON meeting, and I saw these people, and one of the people approached me, why don't you come and help us? And I've been involved in it since 2001. And we had that location, and right after that, Godwani brothers, who started ICC Milpitas, if you know the ICC organization, Godwani brothers had made some money by selling their company to AOL, and from the goodness of their heart, they said, we are going to do something for Indian community at large, and that's where they started ICC, and they approached us, me and a couple of the other people who were on the board. They said, you are taking care of the seniors, but we want to take care of the whole Indian community, kids and people who are regular adults who want to sing songs and do exercises, yoga and all that. So why don't we merge together? So we did merge with them together back in 2001, and they built a building for the seniors in Sunnyvale area at Wolf and Arcades, at the intersection of that one. But then they were going through some hardships of money, and they had to abandon that building. Long story short, we still have a place in Milpitas as well as one in right now in Cupertino.
Can you tell us about the services that are provided?
Yeah, we have a big room. One side of the room is for having meetings. The other side is more like a cafeteria style tables and set up. You can have lunch. You can play bridge to carom board to you name them. You want to do your socialization. There are two separate areas over there. I have been more involved since I got involved with people from the original center, that Indo-American Community Service Center, which was in Sunnyvale, Milpitas, Sunnyvale, Cupertino area. I know more about that one than what goes on at Milpitas. Somehow the affinity with those adults, like your father-in-law, Mr. Rao, there's Mr. Santanam, when we were merging, there was a fear on the part of some of these seniors that these young hotshots, Godwani brothers, are going to come, start the center, but ignore our poor parents, like what happens a lot of times. The young kids take parents' money and leave the parents outside on the road saying good luck, and So they were worried. So I have been connected with them, and I have actually protected their rights, because there were times in between the battles were going on, because ICC was having trouble raising money at that time. We went through a tough period during the mid-2000, after the bubble burst in 2001, so there were not that many funds coming. So we have been in a rented building, but we really have amazing programs. We meet 4 days a week. I just wanted 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 10 a.m. you walk in, there's coffee, chai, biscuits sitting around, have a little socialization. 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, there is an organized program of some kind or another, and I'll walk you through quickly. And then after that, we have vegetarian lunch, and then 3 o'clock, we close the shop and people go home. Now, most people, there was a question about transportation. This location is right off the bus route. I would say 30–40% of the people take bus. We have about 100 people showing up fairly regularly in these programs there. What else?
And there are a lot more when there are events they celebrate.
That's right, we celebrate India's Independence Day, Republic Day, Diwali Day, Eid Day, you name them, we celebrate them. We actually honored a lot of our seniors, super seniors. We have about 20 people that are over 90 years old. So we literally had a day where they were, sat down, puja ki, uske baad sab puja ki gifts di and all that stuff. So we do really honor these people. And the message that we have there, this is not time to sit there and sit in the rocking chair and this thing. It is actually opposite of that one. You are at a stage in life where you have done what you could do. You have raised your children well, you bought the properties and you sold them. It's the time to do what you really want to do. So agar you had a desire to do singing or acting, we really have opportunities at our center where you can try those things out. Gaane gao, dance karo, books share karo, all the spirituality is of course a big thing with our seniors. Wo karo, politics discuss karni hai, we have programs on politics. Yoga is done on a regular basis. On Wednesday we have a program called Chhaju Ka Chobara, and what that is that microphone, it's given to you anybody wants to come, tell a joke, sing a song, bhajan gana hai, kuch bhi karna hai, limited to 8 minutes. We would limit you. And that's the most popular program. People love to talk, by the way. This thing, more than listening. And it's really a good opportunity. So that's the program. Along with that, we have book review club, karaoke karte hain, intellectual programs and spirituality programs.
I just wanted to say something. My first, I used to just drop my in-laws and come back. And this was almost, I would say 10 years ago. And one day, I came a little early and I went in. And he's talking of intellectual programs. The thing is, many of these people are still intellectually very productive. And so, guess what the talk was? Somebody from Google was giving a talk on how search engines work. And I'm like, great, I'd love to have been there. The thing is, they have interesting discussions.
Now, we have had NASA engineers to doctors to chief engineers who have run water projects in India. There is a program, it's called FOSWL, F-O-S-W-L, Friends of Same Wavelength. And what that means is these highly intellectual guys want to discuss these high-fruiting stuff. And they have programmed one program a month. And for last 20 years, there are like 216, 17 programs non-stop. For the last 18 years, they have that program. And so, it's really a fun place to be. Many of you guys should come there and share your wealth of talents there because they love, these seniors love hearing from, and I have had people from Google and IBM and Cisco and many of these people have come as speakers. So, enough said. Thank you, I've talked too much.
Very persuasive, actually. I wanted to add one other couple of things, which is my father used to be involved in an organization here called Foundation for Excellence. Many of you may be aware of that. That's actually quite interesting because what they do is they are a foundation that gives scholarship money for young people, typically coming from India, selected for a 4-year program or something. How they do is actually quite interesting. They go through raising a bunch of applications in India, and all of this, and maybe a bunch of senior citizens, right? Most elderly people actually go through, rank the applications, go in, and are essentially doing a lot of legwork that is quite interesting, and they feel like they're actually giving a lot back to. So the interesting part about this is they start this work, they meet you regularly, and then Shukla, who's going to be driving that quite a bit, many of you may be aware, when they go back, when my father used to travel back to India, he was very busy, he didn't have enough time because he had to call, interview some candidates, and send the interview recommendations and feedback, so it was actually like a job, and they felt like they were doing something interesting. So something to think about in addition to cultural, social events as well.
And we used to share the same location with them, FFE, Foundation for Excellence. And a lot of our seniors did participate in that.
Yeah, and I was actually going to add to the same thing. My father-in-law went back to India and helped set up a connection between FFE with a local Hyderabad-based organization that gives underprivileged students admissions to, who have already gotten admissions to med schools and engineering schools and accounting schools and MBAs. There's professional schools that cost a lot more money than, say, a regular bachelor's degree, and they made the connection with them. So there is a lot of productive work that's possible so that they feel useful.
So it's not productive work. There are a couple of other interesting things. One is libraries. Most public libraries actually are desperate for volunteers. And if you see, most of the volunteers there tend to be somewhat older because they have more time and they're more interested in learning. And so my parents used to volunteer there. Sorry, can you?
It's a little louder.
Okay. Hello? So my parents used to volunteer there, but also interestingly, there's, one of the occasional things to think about is the polling duty, election officers. So it's a very interesting way for them to engage and essentially sit and see their neighbors, because everyone has to come in, you go through, you have some small talk with your neighbors, and they're showing their, whatever, giving them the polling information. And interestingly, for what it's worth, they give a parking fee of $5 or something, so it just feels like you've actually added some value to the process. That's something to think about.
Shishir, do you want to add something about some specific challenges that you see as with parents going back and forth?
No, it is great to have these options, and I surely wasn't familiar with all the activities ICC organizes. I wish when my parents were visiting I had taken them to ICC more. So my parents are fairly young, they're in mid-60s and good health. So when they come here, they are able to go for hikes and go for walks. So I live in, just to give you a perspective, I live in Sunnyvale, and when I was having my parents over, I figured, I have 3 temples within 2-mile radius of my house, and there's trails and there's plenty to do, and there's, you step out, you see people from your own country, so they should feel fairly comfortable. So when they were here, they stayed for about a month or so, and we did all that. My dad would go on, for cycling. He would log in 20 to 25,000 steps a day, and my mom would, go to temple, and she would participate in kirtan and stuff. So I thought I had everything figured out until, I went back to India. I was visiting them this December, and they told me they don't like it here. And that was a little baffling for me. I'm still trying to make sense of that, so I don't know whether it is me taking them to a party and having a few extra scotch, or
they do get bored at home. They do get bored at home. Because all day long, if you're sitting at home.
Right. So I think in the end, it's more to do with, I think you mentioned earlier, how to get them more connected, how to get them more involved. They have 60, 70 years of experience living in India with friends, and when they move here, they don't feel the same level of warmth and connectedness. And how do you establish that ecosystem is something I'm still figuring out.
So can you also address what you do to stay connected with their health, with their situations that affect their day-to-day life, or do they need any assistance yet, or none?
You mean in India?
Yes, in India.
Yeah, fortunately they have not needed any medical assistance yet. So yeah, I don't think I can comment, but yeah, it is of worry to me, which hospital to take, which doctor to trust. I don't know as much about that place anymore where they are living. So I'm still in the process of figuring that out.
So Sylvia, you're the person with the information that all of us are waiting with bated breath. So tell us, what are the options in terms of both health as well as travel insurance, and how do you protect the parents when they come here from a health perspective?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's interesting. I must get at least 1 or 2 calls a week from people just like you looking for coverage for their parents because either they've come to live with them, especially recently with the big push to get people green cards with the whole immigration situation. So, just to kind of give you back up a little bit, insurance is a complex thing. I don't know how many of you out there have tried to find insurance for your parents when you're traveling here or coming to live with you. Is there a show of hands out there yet? Okay, so you've probably gone through, was it a daunting task for you at all?
Very quick, yeah.
Yes, it is. And one of the things I would say is you probably want to get somebody who works in the industry to help you, because I have had people come into my office and tell me they bought insurance on the internet, and they found out they can't even use it here in America, or it covered them for very little. So with that said, I kind of want to also kind of preface things saying you're never going to find a travel policy that's going to cover you 100%. So, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I want to just prepare you for that. And, unfortunately, everybody knows in America right now, healthcare has been, I always say, turned upside down, shaken, and thrown out, and started all over again, pretty much with the ACA. It became, that in itself was a big change for Americans. Now, to add on top of that travel insurance, which is a whole other silo, if you will.
What does travel insurance cover?
So travel insurance, it's a good question, it's going to get there in a minute. But when you look at travel insurance, people tend to compare it to what they might have with their companies. And I just kind of want to draw a picture here. There are two different types of insurance. So when you're working for your company and you think, oh, well, I'm going to get my parents' insurance and it's going to cover them just like my insurance covers me, I want to prepare you, and I don't like to do that or bad news, but it's not. It's not going to be a fully insured policy. And for those of you who don't know insurance, a fully insured policy is something like you get with your work, where it covers you 100%, no limits. You pretty much pay a copay, depending on the type of policy you have. Now, with travel insurance, it's pretty much per incident, okay? It has maxes. There are some that will pay usual, customary, reasonable, and I know these are all terms that you're probably going, what is she talking about? And, you know, I usually do the basic, when I do a presentation, I always start off with little basics on terminology and insurance so people kind of understand. But just to kind of tell you, there's schedule, which means it's going to be paid out based on the contracted rate. Then you see our usual, customary, reasonable, where they'll take wherever you are. Let's say your parents are here in the valley, and they'll pay based on what most doctors charge. Okay? So getting back to your question, when you buy a policy, they're going to throw all these deductibles at you, all of these maximums. However, you really want to read the fine print because a lot of these policies, and it depends on which carrier you go with as well, will say, okay, if you're 65 to 70, here's the deductibles that are available. You get up to your 90s. I mean, let's say you're bringing your parents in because they're frail, they're ill, and you have no one's, you know, in India can take care of them, so you want to bring them here. They're not going to sell you something with a $250,000 limit. They're going to sell you something with a $50,000 limit. Well, let me tell you, one day in the hospital could hit $50,000, depending on what the illness is. So, you know, I know this doesn't sound like great news, but you really want to plan accordingly. I mean, also, depending on if you're going to have them come live with you, there's other options that we can always talk about. And that's where you want to sit down with an insurance agent because there are waiting periods. I mean, even to qualify for, let's say, Medicare, and I just want to paint this picture for you. You have to wait 5 years. Now, there are gap policies, seven corners. They're one of the insurance policies out there. They have a green card policy for people who are bringing their parents here. However, you also have to take into account after the 5 years on that policy, you know, then you could buy them a Medicare policy and then the supplemental. You know, so there's a lot of, I think.
So Sylvia, quick question. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
What you're saying is, if you're past, say, 70,
yeah,
the coverage reduces a lot.
It does. It does. Yes.
The second thing is, there are policies for green card holders, from what I'm understanding.
Correct.
And for Medicare, do you need to be a citizen?
Yes, you do.
For Medicare, you need to be a citizen.
You need to be a
So
citizen.
that to me implies that after that, the next step should be for parents, if they're staying with you, they need to become citizens.
Good point. And that's, you know, yes.
If you have green card, you qualify for Medi-Cal. And that's a pretty good coverage. It's not bad. My mother-in-law is on Medi-Cal coverage, and it's covered all the procedures.
Right. Medi-Cal, though, has its own set of requirements that you have to meet. And I think it's, what office is the one that you make a request for Medi-Cal? Is it the social services?
Yes, social
security.
The Medi-Cal, you can, that's, if you can qualify for Medi-Cal, you have fairly good coverage. A lot of doctors will accept your also, even though they get very low payment for Medi-Cal patients.
So the main, I think the qualification, just to you can comment on this, for Medi-Cal is income or kind of assets. It has to be below a very stringent threshold. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
That is correct. Less than $2,000 in assets. If you show anything more than that, you don't qualify. And of course, zero income type of, or maybe once you get through SSI, the social security, which is $1,000 or so a month is what you get. So yeah, it's saying it openly because I've seen a lot of people, they hide their income in there. These days they're becoming, you know, if you have big assets in India, a lot of people don't declare them over here. And based on that, they qualify that. But I understand the cooperation between the U.S. Department and India is increasing. And
so from what I'm hearing is that If you are planning to bring parents, I think getting them green cards, at least in the process, is a way to help
That's right. That's what will make
with multiple things, including medical care.
So
Go ahead.
how good is the green card insurance coverage?
How good is the green card?
Insurance coverage.
I mean,
Insurance. So you can buy insurance. My parents bought insurance on green cards, and it is expensive. And one of the problems we had seen with that, and maybe Sylvia can address this, is my mom was totally hale and hearty, but my dad had the usual Indian parent problems, the high blood pressure, the minimal diabetes, the stress-caused diabetes, which you take a tablet or two. They've been living with this for a long time, and I think a lot of Indians, especially rice eaters, have this. But the odd thing was, the fine print said that it doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. And everything, I believe everything can be traced down to high blood pressure or diabetes, which effectively meant we were paying something in the range of $1,400 a month for things outside of these things, an accident, fall, something like that.
So the other important thing is the age cutoff. 65 is like a defining kind of age. So if someone's below 65, and correct me if I'm wrong, but green card is basically like anyone else, like you or I, so it doesn't really matter. You can go and shop for insurance and do whatever you want to here, get whatever the choice of insurance policies are. But everything changes after 65 because there are not that many. The policy availabilities change dramatically, and apart from the costs and importantly the kind of coverage. So that's the kind of thing to keep in mind.
Any questions regarding that you'd like to ask Sylvia or because I think that's one of the key, the really key decision points about where parents settle down is the insurance issue. Because as people get older, the health issues increase, not decrease. So now I'd like to make a little segue into when parents are older, whether the decision of where parents stay and how caregiving should work for the parents. And Dilip, can you start us off?
Sure, and it's not going to try and help make decisions as much as it's going to throw some interesting things. So if you have, if you take care of folks overseas, one thing you'll find is the healthcare system, particularly in India, when it has its ups and downs, usually is very, you'll have to figure out what to do, how you can find the right person. But once you do that, it's highly available, and even more important, the economics of it, just absolutely kind of mind blowing. Just to put in perspective, recently my mother was in India and she fell there. And elderly people fall is actually a little bit of a complication. And what happened there is the entire cost of hospitalization and kind of all the processes associated with that came down to less than, all out of pocket, it was $1,000. I mean, you wouldn't even believe that. And then the second part, what was interesting, was the rehabilitation. So one of the bigger things is elderly people need a lot of care. People to help them walk, people to help them, give them a shower, maybe things at various stages, almost nursing like. And those are readily available overseas. Very easily available, and importantly available at home, so it makes the quality of care, quality of kind of the experience a lot more bearable for them and for everyone else around them. So what we have done, we have essentially gone and put literally a full team of people there, 24/7, and they're literally affordable, just full out of pocket. It's not something that you would think a whole lot about in kind of dollar terms. But the important part is available, and it's easy to make it available in a manner in which people feel like they're at home and experience the normal quality of life. So that's one consideration that kind of makes you think sometimes maybe people spend more time there, because particularly they go through major events before comparing what we here versus there. Here, having home health care is a lot more tricky for anyone, and so that's one of the kind of considerations, I think.
One more, we were going to have one more panelist actually who couldn't make it because of other unavoidable conflicts. But she sent me a note that she said she would like to share here, just so that it brings a perspective. So I'm just going to read this. She says, my dad went through a health crisis recently, and I spent the last 16 months or so working with my brother to get them through this. Made 3 India trips in the last year. So I think that's, while the cost of healthcare may be lower, I think the commutes then add up in terms of time and energy. Just a show of hands, people whose parents are in India, how many have siblings and other close relatives there that can help with the care on the ground? So I think that's one thing I have observed. If there are family members that are on the ground there to help with the immediate emergencies, it gets a lot easier. Do we have any experience here with any retirement communities in India? I heard there's some very good ones coming up. In the recent past, I've talked to a lot of people who said there are these really nice, especially in the south around Bangalore and Coimbatore, there are a bunch of retirement communities that are really good, taking care of medical needs as well as social needs, so that they feel part of a community. Again, mileage varies depending on the parents. I'm going to read a little bit more. It says, my parents are fiercely independent and don't want to be a burden on their children, so it's emotional heavy lifting on their part also to ask for help. And they think of us as children, so it's a difficult transition for them to think of us as capable adults. And there's a role reversal that happens when we become their caretakers. But we should not forget that they are still our parents, have been around much longer than us, and have experiences unique to old age that we don't have yet. Most of them are financially secure, so we must consider hiring help like nurses, attendants, cooks, etc. My mom fought me really hard on this because she thought it was extravagant. There are a lot of agencies in major cities, and the quality of care and professionalism has been improving slowly, year after year. Elder care can be emotionally overwhelming, especially if there are major health issues and personality and ideology clashes. So it's a good idea to consult a therapist to get advice on how to provide care without getting drained. And MFT can also teach us how to really listen to our parents so that we can take care of their needs and not get carried away by all their wants and demands. So she said that finally, as they age and their health declines, elder care becomes challenging and unpredictable. So it's best to maintain a spiritual attitude where we can do our best and leave the rest to God.
What is MFT?
Quick question?
What is MFT?
Therapist, T is therapist, family therapist.
Marriage and family.
Marriage and family therapist. So, Dilip, would you like to tell us something more about the difficulty in getting care around parents, like finding in cities, finding the care? Savita says it's easy.
Sure.
So.
It's actually easy and hard, because the easy part is available. The hard part is knowing where to look. I mean, it's not like a Google search. You have to call a lot of people to find out. And thankfully, we have, for my batch, this WhatsApp group, which I think I posted, and kind of immediately had a bunch of responses within, like, by the time my flight landed there. But the challenge is actually, interestingly, is what comes next that's causing in India. The starting point is also always very easy. You have people who come up to you, give you the pricing, give you their, what they can do, their qualifications. But then on Friday morning, no one shows up, and you say, wait, it's 10 o'clock, it's 11 o'clock, and then one needs to go to the bathroom, and it says, who's going to literally help with there? And we call this, oh, actually that person, is not going to show up to me. And so this kind of unpredictability of final or last mile delivery is amazing. So what we have learned in India is it's not the service, it's not what people present to you, but the management. So then I became the project manager for a while. Then my wife came and she became the project manager. And then now we've hired one person, because we can obviously do it from time to who's actually overseeing the actual people doing it. It may sound crazy, but that's the critical step, because once you do that, everything goes smoothly, but always building kind of excess capacity, all of those things are very important. And finally, doctors. Doctors, I'll give you, everyone complains, I'll give you the other extreme example. My mother was in a hospital for a few days, and then she came back home, and all of a sudden I get a call on my mobile from some guy who's saying, which is your house? Which is your house? And I said, who are you? He said, I'm the attending doctor. I'm just waiting out to want to see her mother and see how she's doing. So they actually came in, the guy comes in, and then he used to call every few days and say, how's she doing? And I would WhatsApp him questions. So I remember one time asking him about, she's having this problem, and given these medications, and it was like midnight when I texted him saying, probably get back to me in 3, 4, 5 days. My app here, if I send a message, someone get back to me usually in a week. And by 6 a.m., this guy has responded back to me, and he said, I'm terribly sorry for the delay. I have no idea what he was talking about, but he gave me back, recommendations for medicines, and you find some, it's a slightly unrelated question, but I was always going to say it anyway. One of the interesting things that you find when you go to buy medications in India is you can buy anything. So you go to the drugstore, and it gets more interesting. Go to the drugstore and you say, the doctor recommended this. The guy says, tell me a little bit more about the symptoms. So this guy is like a 12-year-old guy at the counter, and he says, people like that usually take this, you want this version.
My mother-in-law has gone through the same issues also, and my wife decided she just couldn't handle the chaos, all these things that you're talking. She had, my wife had gone to drop her mom off last October, and the last day she's planning to leave, that's the day mom slips, breaks her hip, goes to the hospital, same kind of doctor, so really good care, get any medications you want, but you have to literally be a project manager to, and once she came home, to manage the 2 caretakers that were coming, it was a chaos. And finally my wife decided, I'm getting out of here, and she brought her here, and now we interviewed somebody this morning for the same issue. $20 an hour, just to bathe you and all that. I said, you could go to a spa for $40 an hour. Anyway, so it's but if you can get them here, at least in my personal situation, where my wife has a little bit of time, she can attend to it. It's better if you have them here. The rest of life, quality of life really is better here than what you find over there.
We'll be outside Sylvia in particular. If anybody has any questions for Sylvia that may apply to all of us, raise hands. Yes, go ahead.
So I had a question which is related to parents, maybe not too old, but still traveling and going back and forth. If they have private insurance already that's covering them in India, when they come here and they take visitors or any kind of insurance, is there any way of kind of linking the two together? Because the kind of insurance that we have here is that if you go outside of the country and we fall sick and we get hospitalized, there are ways by which you can come back and claim it into your insurance here. So I was curious about what options are there.
Well, I'm not knowing the Indian market, but typically they don't coordinate with other countries. I mean, especially if it's a U.S.-based company. So if you're a U.S. citizen or someone here from the U.S. going to another country about policy here, they usually will cover you. But as far as them coming from other, I understand, is it social medicine or is it private in India?
Private.
It's private. It is private as well.
But healthcare is, the government has a pretty big role in providing free medical care for those who cannot afford care. So,
Okay, so I would say it's something you want to ask the insurance company before you leave from India to see how they would work. I know here in the United States, you build a policy, you go to India. Typically, what somebody does is if it's an emergency, like you're hospitalized and everything, on the back of your cards, there's always that customer service number to call, or that nurse line. You call that line. You tell them that you're in a hospital in India, and they'll start coordinating your care to get you back to the United States. However, I don't know much about the Indian companies, as far as the insurance companies there, how they would work with coordinating.
No, like I'm on Medicare here, and the insurance, the supplemental insurance that I have. If I'm in India or anywhere else in the world, up to $50,000 is covered, and beyond that, it'll have to come to it. But you go back to India, Indian insurance companies will cover a couple of lakhs. So by the time you are here for one day in the hospital, that's $10,000, it's gone. I mean, even if they provoke, I think they do, because my father-in-law was here a long time ago and he was able to claim for a small amount, $200-300, but you won't get very much from Indian companies. It's very.
Thank you very much, and I hope that people here got something out of this.
But on the positive note, ICC does provide, if your parents are here, bring them over there. I sound like a salesperson, but seriously, bring them there, they will meet people, and all these questions about where to buy the insurance, one parent knows that, and he will share everything, the name of the...
That is so true. My father-in-law will come back with a scheme a day. I just spoke to so-and-so, and they said this is possible. You know, so they learn.
It's the best networking place, and 90% of your problems get solved. Which doctor to go to, and what do I do here? People will share that with you really openly. So keep that in mind, that once your parents are here, they can have a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Padma. Let's give this panel, amazing panel, a round of applause.